Doing good, Coach.
Practice number 14 in the books today. Finishing up with practice 14. Probably one of the most spirited team sessions we've had. It's a proud group, and they came out there. They worked really hard today, but defense feels like they have something to prove. I think they're tired of reading that the offense scored 10 touchdowns in the scrimmage on Saturday, and so we didn't go team long today, but I'm glad we didn't because it almost turned into a scrimmage out there. Just a lot of jabbering, a lot of emotion, a lot of celebrating. It was a passionate practice. It was a really positive practice today for number 14. You get into it. I've called you get into 6, 7, 8. You get into those hump days that we talked about, where the excitement of starting is worn off, but you can't see the light at the end of the tunnel yet. Well, we're getting towards the end now, and they are really. I think everything is building up for Saturday scrimmage. I think after watching practice today, it's got an opportunity to be one heck of a doozy Saturday. We're going to do it kind of offense versus defense. We're not going to split the teams. I think we need to get some good work, and it'll be a lot like the scrimmage that we had in the stadium. But I think, like I said, it's going to be a lot more emotional. I'm really looking forward to closing the spring up Saturday night, and at Raymond James Stadium is always fun to get down there and to kind of get into a stadium atmosphere. And for a lot of these guys, it'll be our first opportunity to evaluate Josh Brown and Fidel Montgomery and Ken Durden and a lot of the younger guys with a crowd in the stands, being in Raymond James Stadium and being in a real game-like environment. So that'll be a great evaluation for us, and hopefully we can get a lot done so we can get the depth chart pretty much formulated as we go into summer workouts. But really looking forward to Saturday. It's going to be fun.
What is your main focus for the scrimmage?
We've got to continue to create our depth. I've talked about that. Unfortunately, we've got a couple bumps and bruises and a couple guys that are going to miss it. But to be able to create the depth for those three corners I talked about, for a Rashard Clyde, a Bullock, all these guys that we redshirted, an Eric Lee at defensive end. I mean, a lot of these young guys, to see where they are and whether or not we can count on them right now. We want to get as many reps as we can so we can get an evaluation on where we are with our depth, and I want to stay healthy. I mean, that's one of the biggest things in spring. You just want to try and stay healthy. If we can come out of this healthy and get a good 120 reps, live scrimmage plays, and come out healthy, grow from it, watch from film from there, then it'll be extremely productive spring because the attitude and work habits have been great.
What's ahead for Corey Grissom?
Corey's having surgery tomorrow. He's having his surgery tomorrow. Timetable's very uncertain, but it's kind of a 3-month type of process that he's going through. You look at a guy like very similar to what a Sterling Griffin went through, but Sterling went through his in July. Corey's going through his in April. I mean, that gives him about a 3-month head start. And where Sterling did his in July and then ended up going through spring practice that next year, hopefully we can get him back. And right now I think the best thing Corey can do is rehab and work as hard as he can, and hopefully we don't have any setbacks, because you don't ever know how everything is going to, the timetable and the healing process. And what they've seen so far from the x-rays and the MRIs and those things, they feel like they can go in and it's a pretty clean procedure. And hopefully it'll remain that way, and rehab will be as fast as possible.
You optimistic? Do you mentally project him being ready, or do you not think?
Right now, timetable without any complications, he should be good to go. He should be ready for the season, which is encouraging and good news. I mean, it's not a 9-month type of surgery, sit out, rehab type of process. It's when you get into bone, you don't know how ligaments are going to heal, but right now they're expecting about a 3-month process before he'll be able to really start moving around, doing everything on it. We'll work him in slowly, and hopefully by about the first game is about the timetable when he ought to be about good.
And in the short term, on the interior?
I mean, next man up. I mean, short-term mindset. Okina Watson steps up. Todd Chandler steps up. Clavon Nelson, who had a heck of a scrimmage last Saturday, he steps up into the mix. Luke Sager's already there. I mean, we just got to keep working them, and it may give us an opportunity to maybe work our 3-down package a little bit more, where you take one of your defensive tackles out. We always have that as an option. So you never know. You may get into something like this during the course of a season, and what are we going to do? We got to look at those same options. I mean, even You take a Ryan Giddens or a Juju Forte with the depth you have at defensive ends right now with Tevin Mims and Juju and Ryan Giddens. You take a look at maybe moving one of those guys inside the 3 technique. So we've got some options right now, and I don't know that we'll exercise them, all of them, for Saturday, but things that are kind of challenging us to think about some other things that if we do get into this problem during the course of the fall.
Skip, how's Deontay Welch and his health?
He's doing fine. I mean, there's a possibility for Saturday. Did not practice today. He's got just kind of like a bone bruise. I mean, should be fine. Nothing. It's not ligament or anything like that. Should be. The trainer Steve Walls is hopeful that he'll be able to go for Saturday. So we'll just have to wait and see how the next day of treatments fare out for him. But he should be fine.
It's a foot?
Yeah, it's an ankle.
Ankle.
Yeah.
Any more news on Alex Mutt and his knee?
Alex is having surgery Friday. Alex and Anthony Hill are having surgery on Friday. Anthony Hill's is a pretty extensive surgery. I mean, he will have to sit out this year. He'll miss the season with his injury. Alex Mudd is a month-long scope cleanup type process, so he should be good to go by the end of May. So he should be good for summer school, where he'll be able to do all the training.
Mutt's a knee? Or?
A knee, correct.
And with Anthony, it would just be a traditional red shirt that he has available to him and would try and bring him back for 13 then?
Correct. That's where we are right now with it, and that's kind of the plan. You know, like you asked about, Corey, am I optimistic? I'm expecting Corey back right now. I don't expect Anthony Hill back for this fall.
Is there anybody that really stood out to you after the scrimmage that's really tried to step up their game the last couple of days?
I tell you, there's a lot of guys that have really surprised. I've really been defensive front. I thought Clavon Nelson had a heck of a scrimmage on Saturday. I thought Clavon Nelson is giving us more than I thought we could get. I expected Elkino and Todd Chandler and some of those guys to get in there and compete. But Clavon Nelson has been a pleasant surprise, and Eric Lee has been a great addition. Tevin Mims has been a great addition. I think guys like that have really strengthened us on the defensive line and really done a nice job. Couldn't be happier with Fidel Montgomery and Josh Brown and Kenneth Durden, 3 young corners, or new corners that I think coming into recruiting, we said we've got to find an immediate answer in the secondary, especially at the corner position. And I think those 3, George Baker's playing better than he has since we've been here. All of a sudden, you're looking at 5 corners. Well, coming into it, we had 1. And now all of a sudden you got 5 guys in the mix and in the rotation that I think have a chance. So that type of depth, those type of guys that have really been pleasant surprises. I think Edsel Caprice has put himself into the picture a little bit more than he was going into the scrimmage. I think Edsel Caprice has kind of shown up doing some things, and Zach Bullock's doing a couple of good things. So those young guys at linebacker, we need them to keep getting reps and keep coming along as players. And the offensive line, I think that Lawrence Martin has been a nice addition. I think Damian Edwards had an excellent scrimmage for a guy that kind of like a George Baker, going to be a 5th-year senior, had never played a whole lot for us. But I think he's a guy that's really emerging as a starter. And I think the second offensive line has been a very pleasant surprise from scrimmage 1 to scrimmage 2. Scrimmage 1, it seemed like they were overthinking, robotical, head on a swivel, reacting just to everything rather than going. This one, I thought they played much more aggressive, and I look at those 4 freshmen right now and the impact that they're making, and Max Lang, Thor Joswiak, Brynjar Gunmanson, and Darrell Williams. I'm really impressed with what those guys are doing as true freshmen right now in their first spring, and with them getting all the reps as a 2s right now and the way that they're coming, they're doing some good things. Lindsey Lamar is a pleasant addition. Bradley Battles really stepped up, and I thought had one of his best scrimmages since he's been here. So those are the guys I expect BJ to continue to develop and progress, but some of these other guys are guys that I think have really stepped up this spring.
You mentioned before spring practice that some of those 4th quarter losses last year could serve as a teaching tool.
Yes.
And that maybe instill, guys come in with a fire in their belly.
Right.
Have you seen that fire?
I think the fire and what I've talked about, and the attitude and the energy and the passion that they've taken into every practice this spring, I think it's been a great motivating factor, not just the close losses on how close we were, but the result of the season. And the seniors have really kind of rallied behind that's not how we're going to do it. I mean, that's not how we're going out, as seniors. And they have brought a great mindset and work habit and energy and an unbelievable attitude every day. I mean, I keep saying this. It's been the team's been a lot of fun to work with because they go out there every day, and it's not like you got to motivate them every day. They're motivating each other, pushing themselves. just like I practiced today, number 14. We just had a long scrimmage and came out here today for a team period, and we didn't have to start their engines today. I mean, they were started. It's a competitive group, and so from that standpoint, I do think we're seeing some results from what happened last year.
Not that it's scorched earth after him, but when you have a senior quarterback, you kind of look at this as every season's big, but when you have your guy going into a senior season, it's like, you know,
Well, this
metal
is
to the pedal, or
this
what
is
else?
this is what you wait. This is what you wait for as a quarterback, a running back, and that's where we're different this year than we've been any year since I've been here. When you look at the leadership we have at quarterback, and you look at the leadership we have at running back and at tight end and on the offensive line and at linebacker and D-line, and I mean, we've got a lot of seniors that have played a lot of football. This is their last go around. This is their last opportunity, and that's why I make the expression all the time. Freshmen, sophomores want to play, juniors want to start, and seniors want to win. You know, seniors are, all right, what do we got? This is it. I mean, I don't care if I start. I mean, I'll play my role as a backup player. I just want to make sure we do whatever we got to do to win. And that sense of urgency is what makes seniors so much fun to coach.
You didn't make a lot of excuses last year, but are there literally no excuses this year? Like I mean, you talked about the second 22 and all.
Right.
But you keep stressing senior leadership and seniors, so.
I felt depth was a concern going into the season last year, and that's what I talked about going to camp. I mean, that was my battle cry: depth. I know we got 22, but depth. We're starting to create a little bit of that. We're not there yet. I mean, and like I said, I'm not making excuses. We had our opportunities last year, and hopefully, if we'll continue to develop, we're going to have our opportunities again this year as well, because of the senior leadership and the way those guys are working right now. But the biggest thing that I want to create is depth on our football team. It's not, I want our starting 22, but unfortunately injury is part of this game. And when somebody goes out, number two's got to step up and he's got to play like a starter. And that's when you have right now we've had some good football teams in our past. We've won some games. We need to continue to build our program, which is building depth and not just 22 that can play. That's why we practice with our 1s, 2s, and 3s, and everybody gets as much teamwork as we do. So we got to get them ready.
Guys, if you guys want to continue, I'm going to start switching around. So.
No,
Thanks.
coaches, do you want us to do it here or somewhere else?
No, if you got one more,
Let's go last
go
question.
ahead.
Here we go.
One of the things that's been floating last week, Coach Hoke up in Michigan mentioned the idea of having school scrimmage against each other in spring ball just to get the chance to go up against other teams. It's something other sports do.
Right.
Can I just ask you how you feel about that? What do you think kind of the pros and cons of that are?
I think it created a great atmosphere. I mean, I think it created a great atmosphere for the spring games. You know, and everybody right now is extremely thin in trying to put 22 on the field at the same time. You know, I mean, because now you got to get 44 ready. I think it would be great to have the opportunity to do that. The thing that I would not want it to take away from, I think the spring is great right now for player development because you're not trying to game plan, you're not trying to put something in to beat an opponent. You're watching your own film. You're watching your steps. Are you square? You're not in there coaching schemes and techniques. You're coaching fundamentals and what you got to do to keep getting better. And I think that's healthy for our game. I think that's healthy for our game. I think it's healthy for every team in the country to teach our players the right way to do it and not have to just get into the scheme side of things and trying to beat an opponent. So I would love to finish up spring with the scrimmage against another team and knowing that Saturday night at 6 o'clock we were playing somebody else. I mean, somebody here in state or something like that. I think that would be a great opportunity for your two teams to get together, kind of like a preseason, football game. I know high school football does it, even if it's for a half, just to, and maybe you don't even play your starters, but you play your guys that you want to get an evaluation on, so, because again, it's not about whether you win or lose that game, it's the game time experience you get for your players to get ready for the fall. So goods and bads, that's what I see as you throw it out to me. But like I said, I'm just excited about having the opportunity to play this scrimmage on Saturday at 6 o'clock. Hope we have a great crowd. It'll be a great night.
Thanks a lot, Coach.